Unfair it is. A new study by the Media Research Center has found that 91% of Donald Trump's media coverage has been negative, even hostile. Joining me now to discuss the study and much more, Research Director at the Media Research Center, Rich Noyes. Rich, good to have you with us. This is like we've never seen before. I don't know if you've done a historical comparison, but I have never seen these ratios between two candidates so disparate, so wide, and so decidedly one-sided.
I've been doing this since 1988, and I've never seen coverage like this. I mean, it's not just the negative ratio that Trump has, it's the intensity. I mean, he's getting about 3 or 4 times more evaluative statements than Hillary Clinton is. He's the topic of most of the nightly news discussion. And I should explain, to calculate this spin ratio, we stripped away, Trump's talking about Hillary Clinton or himself, Hillary talking about Trump or herself. Right. We made just reporter comments. They're nonpartisan experts, voters. This is the spin that the newscasts are presenting. And it's 91% negative on Trump. He's getting much more coverage than Hillary Clinton, and most of the coverage are about his controversies, not her controversies, in spite of how serious her controversies are. Well,
the idea that, that the national media has chosen to ignore effectively nearly all of the allegations of Bill Clinton, even though the WikiLeaks documents reveal that the campaign was most concerned that he would be juxtaposed against Bill Cosby for the allegations against him. But in Bill Clinton's case, there's been adjudication. There has been proof. There has been the reality of what has happened, and those women have come forward, and famously, we remember the 4 of them at a debate being ignored in totality by the left-wing media.
Yeah, no, the #1 topic for this fall campaign, we looked at from the conventions through the 3rd debate, 102 minutes of airtime was Donald Trump and women. There was only 7 minutes of discussion of Bill Clinton and his past, and most of that was about how unfair it was for Donald Trump to bring it up.
And looking at these scandals that are being revealed, what we have seen just from what WikiLeaks has revealed to the American public is enough for these newspapers, their editorial boards, their publishers to withdraw their endorsement of a campaign that is so obviously corrupt, so impugned by fact and reality that it is, I mean, it's disgusting. The smell that surrounds this whole public corruption case against the Clintons, the Clinton cartel, the Clinton campaign, the Clinton Foundation, it's extraordinary and unprecedented.
Look, the Democratic nominee this year was under criminal investigation by the FBI in the year she ran. That's not the top story on the network. You'd think that would be prohibitive. Her email scandal got 40 minutes of coverage. That is a small fraction of what Trump got for women. 20 minutes on the Clinton Foundation pay-to-play, 2 minutes on Benghazi. These are all scandals that go right to the heart of whether she can ethically or competently function as president, and they're being pushed to the back of the line so they can talk about Trump and statements he makes that might rub people the wrong way, or the allegations about women.
The 2 largest newspapers in the country, that is the Washington Post and the New York Times, have exceptional owners, I'll put it that way. Jeff Bezos, who himself is committed to destroying the candidacy, obviously, of Donald Trump. Carlos Slim, the largest single shareholder now in the New York Times. Obviously, both organizations being driven anti-Trump, in the most anti-democratic fashion, if I can put it that way. Rich, what in the world should the American people do in response? Do you see a wake-up here? Do you see an alarm? Or do you see more ennui and apathy and indifference?
Well, I think, every cycle it grows the number of people who do not trust the press. The press, have been proving themselves not to be honest brokers when it comes to covering liberals versus conservatives, Democrats versus Republicans. This is just
I don't
the
like
most
that
extreme
construction,
case.
Rich. I really don't. Because I don't see deceit, deception, duplicity on the part of anyone but the left-wing media. I mean, this is extraordinary. And their candidates are being held up in judgment by public opinion and obviously the voters on November 8th.
Right, and voters, I think, are losing trust if they're ever, to the extent they had it in that press. But I think the owners you talked about, they could not do that if they didn't have rank-and-file journalists who believed in that worldview as well. If they were all conservative journalists, it wouldn't work.
I'm not worried. Believe me. The last thing I would question is whether or not there's a shared worldview, and it's entirely globalist, and it's entirely left-wing on those two publications and most of the national media. Rich, we've gone way over. You make me do that. Thanks for being with us, Rich Noyes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.